We have our next presentation coming up, and we're going to be hearing from BMorgan about cybersecurity.
Well, my name is BMorgan. For my project, I decided to focus on the issue of civil liberty, protecting civil liberties and versus security, focusing mainly on the internet. My title itself is inspired from Patrick Henry's quote, "Don't give me liberty or give me death." And it took a lot of time to come up with this, not this title, but this idea that I had. I went through a lot of questions and eventually came to this one. So my question itself is: has the United States gone too far in trying to protect the people of the United States, that they have overstepped their boundaries and are now infringing on people's civil liberties? Initially, in my research, when I came up with this question, I was on the side of security. I thought that it had not, and the United States had not gone too far, and that that it was doing what it should and what it can do to protect the people of the United States. After a lot of research, I eventually came to find. I started to question if I was right in thinking this. And what finally pushed me over the edge was a quote by this guy, Benjamin Franklin. His quote, which is also on my website, that's my code quality. A nation that would give up a little bit of liberty to gain a little bit of security will deserve not either, will lose both. This quote really pushed me over the edge and made me finally realize which side I would be on, the side of liberty. So my thesis was that the United States was really taking too much from all of it, overstepping its boundaries and infringing on people's civil liberties. There are a lot of examples of this, such as the prison program that Edward Snowden leaked, the Patriot Act, the SOPA and FIFA Act, both, and there are a lot of other examples, but I'm mainly focusing on examples on the internet, which these three did. So this is my research led me around, and a lot of the stuff that we were learning in some of my other classes, mainly my government class, was about the Constitution, and that also helped me decide on which I would do, or what side I would be on, which would. And this is one of the biggest amendments that I came across and researched during my research. So the Fourth Amendment, it just guarantees that nothing will be taken from any American citizen without a warrant, a legally obtained warrant. So this man is Edward Snowden. He was, a couple years ago, he leaked a massive amount of information from NSA and the CIA. He was then named a traitor, but this information that he leaked was stuff that was being done unconstitutionally, such as the PRISM program. So the PRISM program would it allowed the NSA to collect various data from various different companies that provide internet, such as Google, or internet services such as Google, Bing, or Microsoft, I should say, Yahoo, and it even allowed it also tapped into phone companies such as AT&T and Verizon. One of the solutions that I came up with for preventing the United States from overstepping its boundaries is to enact better whistleblower procedures that would better protect people such as Edward Snowden, who are just trying to protect people's liberties and rights that are guaranteed in the Constitution. One of my other solutions is to enact something called something that was brought up a couple of years ago, I think a couple of years ago or back. It's called Safe Harbor. Safe Harbor is just what Safe Harbor does is it prevents the United States from spying on our allies and in European countries without their permission. That it seems like something that we would have anyways, but it was shot down by the Supreme Court last year, and I think that for one of my solutions that the United States should enact Safe Harbor. One of my other solutions was to repeal the USA Freedom Act, which is the successor to the Patriot Act, which I mentioned earlier as being infringement on civil liberties. My last solution is more on a global scale. It's for the United Nations to recognize human speech and internet freedom as a liberty and right guaranteed to all. And the United Nations already has declared the internet freedom, the right to browse the internet, as a human right, but it's not being enforced, and that's a big problem. So for my internship, I interned with Jim Morton at Gemstone Technologies. He's on my right, and so he works at a local Charlottesville company, or his own local Charlottesville company. They do a lot of IT work, such as mainly networking and repair. And so when I was struggling to find a good internship, Mr. Morton actually goes to my church, and my pastors pointed me in his direction, saying he runs an IT. You could ask him, and so I did, and he said he would be more than willing to take me on as an intern. So a lot of what I learned, since networking was really a new field to me, was for the first 2 days, I learned a lot of the basics, such as a map. Like, he drew a map and showed me where all they went. This isn't the map, but he also taught me what each device in it was, such as the DHCP, which would hand out private IP addresses a lot, and allowing the machines to better communicate with each other on a private network. And also the DNS, which would take, such as domain names or URLs such as google.com and turn with IP addresses such as which google.com would go to 8.8.8.8. And then we started getting into the more advanced stuff such as IP addresses or IPv6 addresses, which would be, they are in hexadecimal, allowing there to be more combinations, because that's a big worry about they're running out. So I just learned a lot about networking here with Mr. Morton, because I needed to know, at least have a basic understanding before I would do a project on the internet. At the end of my time with Mr. Morton, he had me, and he had another intern and I build a connection between two servers and have them try and communicate with each other. And that was just to see if we could do it and what we knew. I ended up spending about 17 hours and 15 minutes with Mr. Morton. And I learned a lot while there, and it was a lot of fun. For my community service, I had a lot of trouble with this as well. I didn't know what I could apply my knowledge and my community service to. Eventually I remembered that I worked on a summer camp called Charlottesville Abundant Life, the Charlottesville Abundant Life Ministry Summer Camp. And so I checked their website, and they had volunteer opportunities for those who would work, who knew stuff about hardware and data entry. And so I contacted Mrs. Goodwin, who was the, head person at the camp, and asked her about any opportunities that I could have while there. And she responded, and after a bit of working it out, we finally decided that I could meet with her over spring break, because I could not, because our times did not exactly match. And so over spring break, I went and I did a lot of software repair there. Their computers were slow, and because of programs running in, they're just being old computers. And so on my first day there, after a short tour of their offices, and she asked me to get work on that computer there, which took me the longest to find out what was wrong with it. And after I did, it made it easier on all the other ones to fix. So part of my community service, is just fixing these computers to make them speed up, because a lot of the people there were complaining about slow computers. I worked on a lot of computers while there. I ended up there ended up being 2 computers that were beyond my capabilities, because and so these 2 computers, one of them was always using 100% of its CPU, the central processing unit, and it could not. So that's what made it so slow. And I found that there were a ton of things that could be causing this. And so I told Mrs. Goodwin, and she said not to worry about it. And there was also the fact that it was a 14-year-old computer. And so the other computer that I could not fix was it had a problem where it could not, no one could log into it. Now, after research on a different computer and a little bit on my phone, because my phone had faster connection than the Wi-Fi, I found that this was caused by updating or shutting down while updating. So there's a reason why you're not supposed. It tells you not to do that. You won't be able to log into your computer. And so after a little bit of research to try and find out how I can fix this, the website I found said to only fix this if you only attempt to fix this if you absolutely 100% sure know what you're doing. And I realized that probably was the best thing for me to do, because I didn't want to break the computer in case it had any information that was needed on it. And so the next thing that I did while doing was also some hardware stuff. These are the some computer's hard drives that I took out. So this Goodwin had I guess, shelf full of old computers that were no longer in use. And she wanted to get rid of them to free up some space. So I helped her by removing all the hard drives from them and then taking the remaining shelves of the computers and taking them out to the van. Yeah. Mrs. Goodwin was very grateful that I helped. When I was about to leave, she thanked my mom, who was there, a lot. She thanked her that she brought me because she said I was such a blessing to her and everyone else because I was so kind and so great at what I did. So my legacy is I'm working on a subscription email for our counselor, Mrs. Santos, and for our scholarships. She sent out, because I'm actually helping Zach write with migrating old teacher websites to Google Sites, because I'm not entirely sure, but they don't like the current website program that they're using. And the problem is that our counselor, Ms. Santa, sends out subscription emails using that website and does not. And so she asked us if there would be any other way to do it. So I started looking into this when I started helping Zach. And I found that, that really the only way to do it is through like other websites. So, and she really wants it to be an opt-in, opt-out. So there's no, she has to do anything to put someone in or take someone out of it. My advice to future reference members is something that they're going. I have a lot of advice because I messed up a lot. My biggest piece of advice, or my first piece of advice, would be what Joey Bankman said and what everyone else is going to say, and you're going to hear all the time, is do not procrastinate. You're still not going to hear it enough. My second piece of advice is get a driver's license. That is, I did not have my driver's license when I started my internship or my community service, and I had to rely on my parents to drive me there, and it was kind of annoying. Not saying that that's annoying, but it's just I had to do it on their time. I had to ask, and I think that having a driver's license really helps with make it on your own time. And so next year I will be attending George Mason University, and I will also be a part of their honors college. I'll be going to George Mason to study computer science. After taking the Irving's computer science course, I thought that I found that I wanted to do computer science as my career and wanted to study more on it. And so after I graduate from George Mason, I plan to go into video game programming because I have always loved video games, and even for my final project for the Irving's computer science course last year, I made a little game app. And I just always wanted to program video games. And are there any questions?
When you talked about search and seed earlier, and you talked about access to Yahoo, Facebook, and Google, and so forth.
The prison program?
Yes, aren't those public, and couldn't they be used by law enforcement?
So, what I understood was, after my research, I found that Google, Yahoo, all the big internet search providers and internet providers, what they would do is that they would never. After the prison program release, they released statements saying, Google, Apple, whatever, we never release bulk information. If the government comes to us with a legal warrant, we will release one person's information, but never bulk information. And so it's not. I don't think it's public. I don't think you could just go on their website and find it because that would be infringing on privacy. But the government could, if they had a legal warrant, the government. So the information's not really public. It's private because it's on your computer and their servers. That's really it.
Other questions for Blaine? Okay.